NFL free agent Cam Newton received some criticism after appearing on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast this past Sunday. In the interview, Newton gave his thoughts on what a good woman looks like to him. And I quote, "A woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs. I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss B, I'm a this, I'm a that, no baby, but you can't cook. You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know how to allow a man to lead." Newton's opinion caused an uproar on social media, with many calling his remarks sexist. This isn't the first time Newton has received this kind of outrage over comments that were considered misogynistic. Today we have our comedy hype analysts, Vanessa Fraction, Capone, and Pierre calling in to give their reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
I had a perfect example of what a man was in my life by my father. My parents has been together for 36, 37 years now, and it's a beautiful thing. And I knew what a woman was, not a bad bitch. Bad bitch is a person who's just, you know, girl, I'm a bad bitch, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I look the part, but I don't act the part.
Okay.
You know, and it's a lot of women who are bad bitches, and I say bitches in a way not to degrade a woman, but just to go off the aesthetic of what they deem is a boss chick. Now, a woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs, right? And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss bitch, like I'm a this, I'm a that, no, baby, like, but you can't cook.
Okay.
You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know how to allow a man to lead.
Now, I want to switch things up for this topic because I know it's a sensitive one, and in our community right now, people are going in on the comments, and a lot of women are upset. So, Vanessa, I want to start with you and get your reactions. When you first saw that clip, what was your first initial reaction?
I no lies were told. I mean, he felt how he felt about it. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. He was very sensible in the way he kept saying for him. You know what I'm saying? I think he also was quite descriptive in saying what he considered his definition of a woman versus a bad bitch. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things he said that I liked was a woman that talks it and looks it in a sense, but you're not that. Like, you don't display certain whatever those things are. You know what I mean? And I don't think when he said that, I took it as not just for your man, but just in general. There's quite a few that might want to look the part, but not really have what it, actually be doing the things that would be considered that definition of that word. I don't really do the whole, bad bitch, boss bitch, all that type of stuff or whatever. Yeah. Not that I don't use the word, but it just, that I don't know. I don't level myself up as one of those types or whatever. I guess I understood what he meant by saying, he likes a woman that can cook and knows how to cater to her man and still does blah, 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 blah. We all have our preferences, and I don't think there's anything wrong with people stating what their preferences are.
Absolutely. Everybody has their thing. Pierre, I want to come to you. When you first saw that clip, what was your initial reaction to it?
Similar to Vanessa's. I mean, it's his opinion. I see no lies detected. If he feels that certain women that he's talking about, we know who he's talking about, which women. The problem is other women who aren't that women getting their feelings hurt. They're not, he's not describing you. If he's not describing you, then why are you getting your feelings hurt in that scenario? So if he's talking about women who are basically out there acting like they boss bitches, but don't cook and clean and don't serve their man, and that's not his wife type of material. He don't want her. And that's okay. He's allowed to have that opinion. So now if you're a woman who does that, and takes care of your man and a boss bitch, and he ain't talking about you, So I see no lies detected in this man's opinion. It's his opinion.
Absolutely. Capone, I'll come to you next. What was your initial reaction after seeing that clip?
I actually loved it. He spoke a lot of truth. He spoke, kind of took words out of my mouth. He didn't disrespect the women. He made himself very clear of what his opinion is. And I kind of agree with his opinion. I was raised by the same thing, except I didn't have a father. And one thing that holds to be true is every man, loves a woman who caters to him the right way, as well as being a man to cater to a woman. I think it goes both ways, women, put themselves in categories where they want this and they want that. And if a man could comply with it, it's a great thing. But you should also be able to reciprocate what a woman has to offer as well.
Absolutely. Now, while I feel like everyone here is kind of on the same page, there are a lot of women that are upset after seeing this clip. So, Vanessa, I'll start with you. Why do you think so many women of today are upset after hearing Cam Newton's remarks?
I don't know. Maybe the word serve your man. You said there's a lot of uproar or something, or cater to, you know what I mean? As if that's a bad word. Both of those words are great words, especially as a married woman now. I serve and cater all, you know, and showed him that I could, you know, prior to us getting married or whatever. And he definitely caters and serves me as well. As Capone said, it's a, you know, in relationships, you want to reciprocate certain behaviors or whatever. And I think he was given it a really broad stroke. You know, he just said, taking care of your business and cater to your man. That could be a lot of different things. Every man don't want you to cook for him. You know what I mean? If that's what they might be hung up on. You know, some of y'all, even though you can cook, he might not like it still. You know what I mean? So you might still want to, you know, eat out or have a chef or whatever, especially somebody that's in Cam Newton's position. Again, he was saying for him, but I don't know what the uproar would be, because I don't think that he said anything wrong. And we don't do all
and
that.
I think too, he did a great job of saying, like, this is something, you know, when I see my woman or what I want from my woman. So he made it very clear what, you know, he wants for him. Pierre, I want to ask you as well, why do you think so many women are upset? Because as I mentioned, it is an uproar. A lot of people are, you know, calling him misogynistic and these type of things. So why do you think so many women of today are upset by Cam Newton's remarks?
A hit dog hollers, you know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If it ain't you, if it don't apply to you, then why are you upset? Why are you upset? You know what I'm saying? He didn't say every woman. He said his woman, man. So he has the right to say what his woman is. Women say what they want in their man. So it's not, you know what I'm saying? So only a hit dog hollers. So the women who are upset are probably the ones that aren't the one, you know, the ones he's talking about that ain't taking care of their man and serving their man that way. You know what I'm saying? And those the ones who are upset. And why would you be upset if he's not talking about you? You know what I'm saying? I don't get upset when people talk about ugly men, because you ain't talking about me.
Come on, I'm gonna bring you in on this as well. Seeing so many women respond to this and, you know, just refer to Cam Newton as misogynistic or just, you know, just negative comments towards him, why do you think so many women are offended or hurt, you know, after seeing his remarks?
The key factor here is changing of time. And you hear a lot of women, even Vanessa was joking about it earlier, about being barefoot in the kitchen.
Oh, they didn't hear that part.
that is something that women definitely are against. And when they hear a man speaking about these type of things, they automatically jump back to that, because the changing of the time, women are more powerful. Women got a lot of great things going for them, and they feel that when somebody says something in this manner, it's directly towards them, when it's not. You know, he said what he would like, and he didn't even degrade the woman. He just said, you know, some of the women who claim to be these boss bitches and, you know, I'm getting my dollars and getting this, they forgetting about the essence of what relationship is about. And I think that that's the point of where they're getting upset. Some people can't, you know, decipher between business or businesswoman and a relationship woman. Some can't do both. And that's where the problem comes in at.
So let me ask you this, Capone, because I think you bring a great point of, like, the difference of times. And I think, you know, Cam kind of mentioned that, you know, the household that he grew up in, that was a perfect example for him. So, you know, when you're, you know, looking back on whether it's, you know, your childhood or the way that you were raised in just the times, what does a perfect relationship look like to you? And I use perfect lightly. What does a good or a healthy relationship look like to you?
Learned that as a man, you can't really control a woman. Don't try to control. Let a person be themselves, just as well as a woman should let a man be himself. And when you have that understanding, that's where the growth comes in at, because you learn to grow together. When you got a man, even a man, just, you know, I'm that dude. I'm paying all the bills. I'm doing that. No woman wants to hear that. Nobody wants nothing thrown in their face all the time. Or a woman, you know, I don't need no nigga. I don't need no man. No man wants to hear that. And it comes to a point to where when you have those type of things coming at you all the time, it's a formula of self-destruction.
Absolutely. Pierre, I want to bring you in on this one. What's your thoughts? What does a healthy relationship, look like to you? I think Cam Newton kind of mentioned his household and what it looked like for him. But for you, what does a healthy relationship look like?
Probably the number one word is respect. You got to respect the other person. You have to also remember you're in a relationship. You're not mono. You know what I'm saying? It's two people in a relationship. And sometimes people get in a relationship and say how I want it to be, how I want it, not understanding the other person has their wants too. And if you want to get in a relationship, it's a give and take scenario. So you have to understand that it is a give and take. I don't care what society has told you, you're the man. Yeah, you can be a man, but you can still respect a woman. And you can be a woman, of course, and respect a man, So I think respect is probably the number one thing that people don't do. They feel like if I'm paying the bills, if I'm doing more, they feel like more, or they put value on money and not value on what she's doing. Say you're a man who's paying the bills, but she's doing something in the house. So you have to respect her. It's an equal thing. If you're willing to be the man and pay the bills, then you have to accept her and what she does as same respect as yours. You can't act like your money is more important than her, if that's the scenario in this relationship. So if both of y'all paying the same amount or whatever the case may be, it's about respect at the end of the day. You respect each other. And always, my thing is always try to make the other person happy. If you can do that, an old man once told me that. I said, how did you guys become, married for 67 years old? 67. He said, because I always try to make her happy. He said, I always try to make him happy. If you always try to make each other happy, where's the problem?
Absolutely. They're going to love you in the comments, Pierre. I can't wait to read these for sure. Vanessa, I know you've expressed, you just recently got married. This is your territory now. So I want to ask you, what does a healthy relationship look like to you?
I love some of the answers the brothers were given, and what Pierre just said, definitely. But I almost went blank right there because I got filled up with love. But I would say lead with love. Lead with love. The way that you speak, the way that you before things come out of your mouth, the things that you do, leading with love in that space. Communication is so key. So a great relationship to me has a great communication. What Capone said with individualism, allowing each other to be an individual. You know what I'm saying? That's like such a huge piece. You know what I mean? Because you come as two whole. You should come as two whole people. You know what I mean? You're not like halves. You're coming together. You're coming as two wholes. And so it's like you want to keep that individualism with keeping in mind what Pierre said is keeping each other in mind, and which is wanting to make each other happy. If you're doing that, I think those are some really great things. And passion, you got to have a lot of passion. You got to have that love making. I think that really makes a great relationship. And I think we could all agree, a lot of laughter. One of the main reasons I married my husband is because he makes me laugh so much. So even if I'm in the kitchen cooking, or he's laughing when I'm not. So, you know what I mean? Like laughter is a huge aspect of things as well. So
I think the main thing that's important is like, if what works for me and my household doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. As long as we're both happy, I think you all hit points that are very valid. Add all those things in. But I think sometimes we're so quick to compare, like, oh, well, if you're not doing it this way, then it's not this. But if my husband and I'm happy and we're happy, it doesn't have to make sense to the rest of the world. It doesn't have to be like, oh, it's this or it's that. Like, no, it's what works for us. So
this is something that we were talking about earlier. Yeah. How people view him as hypocritical. Because he got four children with a woman and he's not married, but it's what you just said. And other women trying to say, hold on, man, you ain't married. You got 4 women. So how you want a woman to be this, that, this? And you grew up in a household that had a mother and father that were married. Why can't you find your ass being married? That's what I've been hearing. Okay. And I mean, but you just said something that is what it is. Just because my family works this way doesn't mean, what you're on the outside. Maybe his baby mamas and him, or his baby mother, I don't know, mamas, whatever the case is, the 4 kid mother, it works for them. You know what I'm saying? He can still want a woman who, cooks and cleans. Shit, I mean, just because it's not a marriage thing that he grew up with. So I see some women were pissed off at that. It seemed like, he wasn't following the traditional marriage situation like his parents were. And how can he critique somebody when his parents were married and he's not married and he has 4 children? But like you said, it works for him. So.
Absolutely. No, I think you bring up a great point there, and I think as Vanessa mentioned earlier, he made sure to say like, this is what works for me. And some, like I said, some people just can't, I guess, get with minding your own business, mind the business that pays.
Boom, boom.
So I appreciate you all for calling and chiming in on this topic. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts of Cam Newton's recent comments? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.